Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Aimee here. Today we're going to be talking about upcoming books in the month of August of 2022. As always, these are just books that have caught my attention, that are in my favorite genres, which is mysteries, psychological thrillers, male-male romances, and I have a lot of them to talk about today. I think it's a total, I counted 18 books that I want to mention today, but of course 2 of those books are from the month of July, which I did not talk about, but I just felt like I wanted to add them in. You probably already know about them. Well, about one of them for sure. We'll go ahead and start off with it. It was released on July 21st. This is The Family Remains by Lisa Jewell. So this is book 2 in the Family Upstairs series, I guess. I don't know how many other books we're gonna have. And I actually don't remember what happened in The Family Upstairs. I want to say it involves maybe like a cult situation. Like I vaguely remember it, but I think I do want to reread it and before I get to The Family Remains, just to sort of refresh my memory. So I don't want to talk too much about The Family Remains in case it gives something away about the first book, which it probably will. But anyway, just wanted to mention that. I also spotted another book that came out in July. It came out July 31st by Lisa Jewell. I have not heard this. I don't know if it's what type of book it is. I found it on Amazon. It's called Heart Game. And it don't really say what it's about, and I can't find it on Goodreads. So this is the picture on Amazon, but it doesn't really give like a synopsis with it. The description is basically, I kind of started reading it and I was like, wait, this sounds like it's part of the book. So I stopped reading it because, you know, I didn't want to spoil anything. I don't know what type of book it is. I've never heard of it except for just recently. I think I got an email about it from Amazon. So I just wanted to mention it. It came out July 31st. You can get it on Amazon Kindle Unlimited if you want to check it out. All right, let's get right into August because like I said, I have lots of books to mention in the month of August. So of course we'll start at the beginning, which is August 2nd. We have Husband Material by Alexis Hall. This is book 2 in the London Calling series. The first book, of course, was Boyfriend Material. So this is just Luke and Oliver's, the remaining or the continuation of their story. I actually have this one on pre-order, so I'm super excited about that. It will be arriving in the mail for me shortly after it releases. So I don't want to say too much about these characters or about the book. If you have not read Boyfriend Material, I highly recommend it. Go check it out. The audiobook is fantastic. This next one is a YA LGBTQ romance. This is by an author I've never heard of or ever read. This is Destination Unknown by Bill Koningsberg. This also is released on August 2nd. It just intrigued me because it goes back to 1987. So it says it's 1987 in New York City, and Micah is at a dance club trying to pretend he's more out and outgoing than he really is. CJ isn't just out, he's completely out there, and Micah can't help but be both attracted to and afraid of someone who travels so loudly and proudly through the night. A connection occurs. Is it friendship? Romance? Is CJ the one with all the answers? Or does Micah bring more to the relationship than it first seems? As their lives become more and more entangled in the AIDS epidemic that's laying waste to their community, and the AIDS activism that will ultimately bring a strong voice to their demands, whatever Micah and CJ have between them will be tested, strained, pushed, and pulled. But it will also be a lifeline in a time of death, a bond that will determine the course of their futures. It goes on to say, in Destination Unknown, Bill Konigsberg returns to a time he knew well as a teenager to tell a story of identity, connection, community, and survival. It just sounded interesting. I'm always interested in a little bit of, you know, history, a little bit of backstory about that time and how the gay community has evolved since then. It just always interests me. So this one comes out August 2nd. I'm ready for October, can't we tell? Very much anticipating this release. This is Frat Wars, Presidential Chaos by Saxon James. This one comes out August 3rd. So this one is going to be about our two presidents of our two rival houses, Charles and Zeke, and I'm super excited to get to their story. It says 2 houses, 2 presidents, one hell of a happy ending. The guys on Greek Row meet their chaotic conclusion with this rivals to lovers romance full of pranks, shared hoodies, and secret meetings made in the dark. I can't wait. Another male-male romance coming out on August 5th. This is one by K.M. Newhold, one of my favorite male-male romance authors. This is Meet Me There. 2 men, dozens of cities, and a connection they just can't seem to shake. We haven't spoken in 15 years, and Marlon is the last person I expected to run into in a bar on Bourbon Street. He's not my gangly internet pen pal anymore. He's all muscles, body hair, and temptation. This is a standalone, super steamy, ultra swoony, best friends to lovers, long distance love, coming of age in their 30s male-male romance with very low angst and lots of happy, mushy feels. I love K.M. Newhold's stories. They're just fun and comforting. Like this said, no low angst, just a good time. Switching to psychological thrillers. Our mystery thriller, this is Stay Awake by Megan Golden. This releases on August 9th. This one sounds really good. I just kind of skimmed over the synopsis. I don't want to read too much into it, of course, in case you never know when a synopsis is going to give something away. But I have not been disappointed yet with Megan Golden's stories. But this one has to do with, it looks like amnesia, maybe? Because it says Liv Reese wakes up in the back of a taxi with no idea where she is or how she got there. Goes on to say a few things that we won't read, and then it says, what did she do last night, and why does she remember nothing from the past 2 years? It says it's an electrifying novel that plays with memory and murder. That's all we need to know. We have a good many books coming out on August 16th, so I'll start at the top of my list. This is The Blame Game by Sandy Jones. Loving this cover, by the way. This is just giving me like just summer beachy vibes for some reason. But once again, this is an author that just has not let me down yet. I have really loved or liked everything I've read by this author. The Blame Game will keep readers on the edge of their seats. Games can be dangerous, but blame can be deadly. So it looks like we'll be following a psychologist specializing in domestic abuse. Her name is Naomi. It's a very short synopsis, but once again, I don't want to say too much, but one of her clients goes missing and her files on him vanish as well. But as the police start asking questions about this client, Naomi's own dark past starts to emerge. As the truth comes to light, it seems that it's not just her clients who are no longer in danger. I can't wait. Okay, this next book, releasing August 16th. I keep wanting to say October. Where am I? I know I haven't done this in a while, but I should know what the date is. Well, maybe not. It's been a rough couple months. Anyway, this next book I'm really excited about. This is All Good People Here by Ashley Flowers. Ashley Flowers is from the podcast Crime Junkies. I used to listen to this all the time. I still go and listen to it occasionally, but it was when I was really into true crime podcasts, like a couple years ago when I like first discovered them. This was one of my favorites. So I'm really excited that she has written a book. It says, in the propulsive debut novel from the host of the #1 true crime podcast, Crime Junkie, a journalist uncovers her hometown's dark secrets when she becomes obsessed with the unsolved murder of her childhood neighbor. It's possible we may have a timeline in this one because there was I believe a murder that has taken place. So then in current times we also have the disappearance of another girl. And so there may be a timeline here. And it says, could the killer still be out there? Could it be the same person who kidnapped before? And what will it cost to finally discover what truly happened that night? So I'm really excited about this. I'm super happy for Ashley Flowers. Like I said, great podcast. If you've been on a rock and you haven't heard about it, definitely go check it out. Like I said, it's been one of my favorite. Then we have The Last Housewife, also releasing on August 16th. This is by Ashley Winstead. This is the author of In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, which I have not read yet, so I think it might have to be on my August TBR. It says, from the author of the acclaimed In My Dreams I Hold a Knife comes a pitch black thriller about a woman determined to destroy a powerful cult and avenge the deaths of the women taken in by it, no matter the cost. So I guess this is going to be about a cult. So yeah, hopefully it's good culty and not bad culty. Well, all cults are bad, but you know what I mean, in a book. But I've heard so many good things about In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, so I thought I would include this one on my list. Next up we have Runtime by Catherine Ryan Howard. I love this cover. That's the first thing that drew me into this book, and then I realized it was from the author of 56 Days, which I did like that book. It was okay, but I'm super excited about this one. Movie Making Can Be Murder. The Project, Final Draft, a psychological horror. Promising young thing Steve Dade will direct. The tagline, based on a terrifying true story that hasn't happened yet. The location, a cottage deep in the forest, miles from anywhere in the wintry wilds of West Cork. The lead former soap star Adele Rafferty has stepped in to replace the original actress at the very last minute. She can't help but hope that this will be her big break. The problem, something isn't quite right on the set of Final Draft. Adele is about to discover that the real horror lies off the page. Love it. Love it. Also, and lastly, coming out on August 16th is Fence, Volume 5. This one's called Rise. So, as you know, back in June, when I was reading all my great gay reads, LGBTQ young adult reads, I was having the best time ever. I really got into the Fence graphic novels. I still not have read the 4th one, but the 5th one comes out in August, so I'm really excited about this one. It says, in the highly anticipated next chapter of Fence, Nicholas will stop at nothing until he becomes Sedgie's worthy fencing rival. Excitement is in the air as Nicholas and his friends celebrate their prestigious invitation to the Halverton training camp. They immediately come face to face with the best teams in the country, and Nicholas struggles as he suffers defeat after defeat by an old enemy. Will a new addition to the team bring Nicholas closer to the rest of the team and awaken the resilience within the needs to prevail? But Sedgie, in contrast to Nicholas, remains unchallenged and let down by the camp. With Sedgie's goal to learn instead of win stuck in his head, will Nicholas step up to pose a real challenge to Sedgie, even growing their friendship as a result? Super cute. I can't wait to get back into these guys' little fencing worlds. I had so much fun with it. Okay, this just looked creepy. This is Daphne by Josh Malerman. This is coming out August 23rd. Come on, Aimee. It's not October yet. I don't know anything about it. I just wrote it down because of the creep factor of the cover. So let's see what it says. It's the last summer for Kit Lamb. the last summer before college, the last summer with her high school basketball team, and with Dana, her best friend. The last summer before her life begins, but the night before the big game, one of the players tells a ghost story about Daphne, a girl who went to their school many years ago and died under mysterious circumstances. Some say she was murdered, others that she died by her own hand, and some say that Daphne is a murderer herself. They also say that Daphne is still out there, obsessed with revenge, and will appear to kill again anytime someone thinks about her. After Kit hears the story, her teammates vanish one by one, and Kit begins to suspect that the stories about Daphne are real. Mixing a nostalgic coming-of-age story and an instantly iconic female villain with an innovative new version of a classic horror, Daphne is an unforgettable thriller as only Josh Malerman could imagine it. Yeah, this reminds me of, Bloody Mary is what it's reminding me of. But yeah, creepy AF. So we're gonna check it out. Okay, I wrote this book down because it sounded good. I'm not usually a big Karen Slaughter fan. And now that I'm realizing, now that I'm pulling up this book, I'm realizing that it's part of a series. So anyway, on August 23rd, Girl Forgotten by Karen Slaughter releases. This is the second book in the Andrea Oliver series, or Andrea Oliver. Oh, the first book is Pieces of Her. Okay, well, oh, y'all heard that pop? I've never read Pieces of Her. I don't even think I have it, but it's the one book that I hear a lot about. And I think I've just been scared of it, but I might have to go back and read it. So yeah, Pieces of Her was the first book to this series. Now we're our own Girl Forgotten. But it just sounded really good. A small town hides a big secret. Who killed Emily Vaughn? Prom night, Longville Beach, 1982. I'm a sucker for back in the day. Emily Vaughn dresses carefully for what's supposed to be the highlight of any high school career. But Emily has a secret, and by the end of the night, because of that secret, she will be dead. Nearly 40 years later, Andrea Oliver, newly qualified as a U.S. Marshal, receives her first assignment to go to Longville Beach to protect a judge receiving death threats. So I guess this is maybe a continuing story of our Andrea character. I'm guessing she's like a detective character from the first book, but I have not read the first book. So yeah, I don't want to read too much into this one. Hopefully I didn't read too much into it. But yeah, we get the second book on August 23rd. On August 24th, we get a new series started by C.E. Ricky. This is Iced Out. This is the first book in the Lighten You series. So a male-male romance. It just says, it doesn't have anything about the book at all. It just says, rivals to lovers meets enemies with benefits in the steamy male-male college hockey romance. So we're going to check it out. On August 25th, we get a new book by Riley Hart. This is Playing Games. This is going to be the first book in the Franklin U series. Brax Tyson Langley thinks the king in Franklin University Kings is in reference to him. Star lacrosse player and God's gift to female and male population, there's nothing the spoiled jock can't have. It's impossible for us to be in the same room without talking crap to each other, but I also have a secret. As much as I despise Ty, I want him too. I revel in our banter and in never knowing what he'll say next. I spent too much time on the wrong side of the law for someone like Ty though, and if I want to make it through college and escape my past, he's a distraction I don't need. Ty Braxton Walker needs to learn to lighten up. If you search brooding online, his name pops up. He's the bad boy with the leather jacket and a scowl. We couldn't be more different. Finding ways to annoy him is like the longest foreplay session of my life. And when we end up working together, it gets harder to deny how hot he makes me. What's a little hooking up between enemies? We weren't supposed to become friends or share secrets. We weren't supposed to understand each other and all the complicated stuff we're going through. I'm used to playing games. Only the more time I spend with Brax, the less it feels like playing around and the more it becomes something real. We're coming down to the last two books. These last two books come out on August 30th. First, we have Nothing More to Tell by Karen M. McManus. Excited to read another book by this author. Be sure to keep your friends close and your secrets closer. 4 years ago, Bryn left St. Ambrose School following the shocking murder of her favorite teacher, a story that made headlines after the teacher's body was found by 3 St. Ambrose students in the woods behind their school. The case was never solved. Now that Bryn is moving home and starting her dream internship at a true crime show, she's determined to find out what really happened. So here we go. We're going to have another sort of true crime, maybe podcast in a book kind of thing. I don't know. I don't want to read too much into it. It sounds like it's going to be a great time. So yeah, looking forward to it. And lastly, but definitely not least, this is Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney, coming out August 30th. The best-selling queen of twists returns with a family reunion that leads to murder. After years of avoiding each other, Daisy Darker's entire family is assembling for Nana's 80th birthday party in Nana's crumbling Gothic house on a tiny tidal island. Finally back together one last time, when the tide comes in, they will be cut off from the rest of the world for 8 hours. The family arrives, each of them harboring secrets. Then, at the stroke of midnight, as a storm rages, Nana is found dead. And an hour later, the next family member follows. I'm excited. I'm really excited about this one. All right, that is it. That is all the 18, 19, I lost count, I don't know, books that I have written down for the month of August, and of course those two that I mentioned that had came out in July. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything. I'm sure I missed something. There's so many books that come out every week, every month. But usually I usually tell y'all about the ones that just catch my attention. So let me know in the comments below if I missed something, what's catching your attention that's coming out in the month of August. Yeah, let's talk down below. As always, thank y'all so much for watching. Hope you're all doing well out there, staying safe. Hugs from me all around, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye, y'all.